All right, welcome to our latest and greatest Madison Magnet coffee conversation. I'm here today with Corinn Ploessl. She's our guest from Destination Madison, and she's going to be talking a little bit about what's been going on with Destination Madison, travel and tourism here in beautiful Madison, Wisconsin, amid the current pandemic situation and some things that they've got planned and some things that our members can do to help support. So welcome Corinn here in just a second, but before I get too far down the road, I'm Alex Vitani, Vice President of Madison Magnet. Thank you all for tuning in again for our coffee conversation. I appreciate all the feedback that has come from our first one, and hopefully this will continue to be an ongoing series. Again, the goal to have conversations with our members and other neat people here in Madison over a cup of coffee. So just a couple of quick things to plug as we all evolve and adapt through this pandemic. We at Magnet are trying to continue to put out content and programming for you all. So in addition to this, I just wanted to share a couple of things that we have coming up. So July 22nd, we'll be doing a virtual craft night with Revel. And you can find more information about that on our website. It's going to be pretty neat. They've got some prepackaged coaster directions and art for us to do that will be led by one of their experts over the internet. So if you just go to madisonmagnet.org and go to our events page, you can figure out how to register for that. Should be pretty cool. And we've got a couple other things in the works tied to some of the recent issues here in Madison. We thought would be pretty neat in terms of racial justice, diversity, equity, inclusion that we'll be putting out here pretty soon too. So if you have any questions, like to get a hold of me, I can be reached at vp@madisonmagnet.org. I'm happy to chat with y'all. So without further ado, we'll get into today's coffee conversation. So I'm here with Corinn Ploessl. She is the organizational events manager at Destination Madison. Pre-pandemic, she was responsible for managing all the details of the organization's 30+ events annually. So it feels like you guys do way more than 30+ events, which they're all great events that bring business and guests here to our wonderful city. Currently, she's embracing her new role as the virtual experience manager, helping Destination Madison and their local business partners pivot their offerings in a time where in-person gatherings aren't recommended. So please follow guidelines accordingly. Corinn will tell you how we can do some neat stuff in the meantime, though. She believes in connecting people to their passions and to each other, known as a spirited connector in Madison, so you probably have met her if you haven't already here today. Very involved with the community with roles with our organization Magnet, United Way, Rosenberry Society, and YP Week. And she's currently a member of the marketing committee for both the Madison Public Market and the United Way Centennial, and of Madison in Business 40 Under 40 award winner this year. So congratulations, Corinn.
Thank you to fellow 40 Under 40 this year, Alex. So yeah, we're in the same class. Pretty cool. Yeah, and I'll do a plug for your Revel Craft Night. I have one of those coasters if you can see it.
There you go. Perfect. And that's the set that I ordered too. And yeah, when we were setting this up, we talked about I think the last big event that I know I was at was the 40 Under 40 event March 4th. So a lot has changed since then, which we'll talk a little bit about today, Corinn. But for our members and viewers who may not be as familiar with Destination Madison, maybe a good place to start is just an overview of why the organization exists and the role it plays in our community.
Definitely. I've been with Destination Madison for just over 3 years now, and formally we are the Convention and Visitors Bureau for Madison and the surrounding area. So we focus on tourism as well as convention business. So I'll kind of explain a little bit of that, but really we exist to inspire a love of Madison. We want people to love this community as much as we do, and that includes people in the business market as well as our visitors and leisure travelers. So we bring a lot of events to Madison by way of conventions and large events. And then we also bring visitors here to enjoy the city. We have a couple different funding models at our organization. So we're privately and publicly funded. So for those that may not quite understand, but you've probably seen it on a bill on a hotel when you go stay there. There's something called a hotel tax or a room tax. And a lot of that funding has to go to tourism related activity. And so we are funded through room tax as well as funding through some of the surrounding municipalities that benefit from the work that we do. We also get some funding from Dane County. A lot of that is because of the work we do with the Alliant Energy Center, which is owned by the county. And then we're privately funded by a lot of our partners, which are those businesses in the hospitality and tourism industry, as well as some of the corporate community who really support the work that we do through some of the funding that they offer us. So really excited about still having a lot of partners to support in the community. And then really from like a local perspective, we enhance the quality of life for everyone that lives here. So you've heard it either from our organization or other news sources, but we would not be able to support the number of businesses in Madison if it weren't for the visitors that come here. Mm-hmm. So all those great restaurants that we all love going to, all those great attractions and museums and bars are really supported by a tourism, an underlying tourism feed, because the visitors that come here really support those. So again, a lot of the work that we do may not seem like it applies to you, but really everything that we do applies to the people that live here.
Yeah, well, a lot of us get to reap the benefits of the folks that come in to visit. And I know I've heard the comment on the number of restaurants and all that. And we're definitely spoiled in that regard here in Madison. We've got a great food scene that thanks to the work of Destination Madison, we're able to help support. So and you mentioned a large number of events, and maybe just real quickly, just maybe hit on a couple of the neat ones or ones maybe people may not think of some of the ones, events, programs, et cetera, that Destination Madison's brought to the area.
Sure. So again, a lot of our work goes unseen by those of us that live here. If you think about Monona Terrace, it is a convention center. It's not just the beautiful building on the side of the lake that many of us enjoy from a leisure perspective, but we fill that with conventions throughout the year. And one of the notable conventions that, again, you may or may not have heard of, but is the World Championship Cheese Contest. Oh, yeah. So that has happened in Madison for several years. And there are cheese from all around the world that's coming here to be entered into competition. We do take a lot of awards home as the Wisconsin cheese producers.
As we should.
Exactly. But that's one of the cooler ones that we bring to the convention center. Many people, I should say that Alliant Energy Center, again, a big one. We're not the concert promoters, but we bring things like the World Dairy Expo here, which bring, again, a lot of international attention. But again, one of the bigger industries for Wisconsin, agriculture and livestock. And so showing off a lot of the cows during that time and all the production. We also support the Madison Area Sports Commission, which is part of our organization, which is responsible for bringing large sporting events to Madison. So many of you have heard of or seen Ironman. That is something we help support and bring here every year, both the half and the full. So that's another large event that you've likely seen. And then while there aren't many large community events that we produce, many people might not know that we are the organization that started the Taste of Madison and the Madison Marathon. We split off from Madison events quite a while ago, so that's who continues to produce those events. But the largest community event we did recently was in 2018, Bucky on Parade. And I'm sure many of you have seen or taken pictures with all of the public art that was produced for that project in Bucky form. So again, that was our organization with the Sports Commission. And of course, much support from the UW. But yeah, so that's one of the more recent community things that we've done that I'm sure many people have seen.
Yeah, no, what a great project that was. And, you know, I live downtown and across the street from James Madison Park. And that summer, just the number of people that were coming through the park to get a photo with the Bucky that was there was incredible. And so even being a tourist in your own city, you know, I thought there were some neat things that came of that. So that was an awesome project. You know, obviously the last several months have been difficult for everybody. You know, restaurants, travel, tourism, business significantly hit by the COVID-19 crisis. You know, knowing that the work that Destination Madison does brings so much you know, positive to Madison. Can you talk a little bit about what the last few months have looked like from a local economic impact? You know, whether it's from pure numbers or just from an anecdotal perspective, the Destination Madison maybe seeing or feeling or hearing?
Yeah, I mean, definitely been a rough few months for our industry, hospitality and tourism. Hundreds and hundreds of people have lost their jobs or been furloughed. And, we have done everything we can to provide resources for those people, whether it's the businesses that need help or the employees that have lost their jobs. We've tried to be a centralized location for all of the industry to be in this area, to be able to reach out to know where they can find assistance. As all of us know, all of the restaurants had to close. Everything was kind of shut down, and that had a major effect on our industry. Obviously, locals weren't going many places either. Hotels lost a ton of business. There were some that stayed open throughout because they were housing essential workers, and we had the benefit of some people coming to the area because we needed them. But yeah, a lot of those initial months were a struggle for our industry. Since then things have changed a little bit. Things have started opening up, and hopefully many of us have taken advantage of that. But yeah, it's just something that we are doing is just trying to listen to businesses and figure out what support they need and how we can support them. We, even as our own business, have had trouble finding the help that we need, just because of our interesting funding model. We don't have access to a lot of the resources that other businesses do, but we as an organization are making it through, and we want to be around to support all of the businesses in the industry that need our help.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear. And I think one of the reasons, well, a few of the reasons why I love Madison is because it's very creative community, very entrepreneurial, incredibly supportive, I think, as we've seen recently, but then historically. And I think we can add resilient to that list, hopefully, as we make it through this crisis. And knowing a few folks on your team there, Corinn, Destination Madison's no different. I know you've got some cool things in the works and some new things that you guys are trying. So, putting a silver lining on this, maybe you can share a little bit of some of the examples or new ideas of programming that the organization's putting out, and plug a couple things that you guys are working on that people can look forward to.
Definitely. Just last week, we launched actually our summer campaign, which seems odd to do, but what we have a huge advantage, what is a huge advantage in Madison is we have so much green space. We have so much to enjoy outdoors in Madison that seemed like a no-brainer to start promoting. So we just launched, it's called Explore Outdoor Madison. It's our new summer campaign, all about parks, lakes, picnics, green spaces, and various ways you can just really explore urban outdoors in Madison. And we know that this is something that residents can definitely do and enjoy, as well as anyone that might be visiting for a weekend or visiting family. So what we've done too, as part of this campaign, is we are launching every week 2 iconic Madison experiences that are outdoors. So we launched the first 2 last week, one of which is the loop around Lake Monona. Mm-hmm. Mostly people bike that because it's 13 miles. You can walk it if you want, but it's a great way. It's a great way to see all sides of the lake. You hit different communities along the way. And the other we launched last week was hiking out to Picnic Point, which I know a lot of people have done, but if you haven't yet, again, gorgeous views on the side of the lake. And we just launched another one today. Wow, I'm not remembering what we launched today. But it's cool. I promise you that this is my teaser to go check it out.
I was going to say, let's plug the social media channel so folks can go check it out. Where can they find some of these experiences?
Yeah, definitely. So check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Visit Madison are our handles there, and we launch those on social media, as well as a full blog post on exactly how to enjoy the experience, where you might be able to get some food along the way. And yeah, so I would check out, I just remembered today's, and it might be right behind me, but I would say check that out. We'll launch them for the next 6 weeks. So very, very cool ways to explore outdoor Madison. On the flip side, if you're not outdoorsy, we are helping local businesses launch virtual experiences. Something we recently did was a virtual experience, a virtual cheese tasting with Fromagination.
Oh, nice.
They already have a social distancing cheese kit that you can order online. And they will start offering some virtual opportunities to talk with their head cheesemonger as well as cheese producers while you taste their cheese. So really cool option for people that might still be apart, as in family or friends. You can log in to Zoom together and taste cheese and drink wine, and it's a lot of fun. So we hope to have more things like that coming down the pipeline, and definitely will share that with Magnet and of course many other people, because they're going to be really cool.
Yeah, no, you talk about some of the outdoor activities, and you know, I've lived here for just over 3 years now, and I've actually done more of the outdoor stuff in the past 3 months than I had in the 3 years, just because you always say I can go do that some other time, or I'll get to it, you know, next weekend, and you know, now all we have is seems like time on our hands to go do those things too. So the Picnic Point hike is probably one of my favorites. I'll see if I can go find a bike and do the Monona bike loop, lake loop at some point. I don't think I'll be walking or running. That's a little bit too far for me because of all the cheese things that we talked about here.
Even better is the B-Cycle has a lot of stations around the lake loop. So if you want to hop on one of those, you can easily rent them, wipe them down with you know, Lysol wipes, and head out. And the best part is that they're assisted. So now 13 miles will seem like a breeze, right?
That's cake then. Perfect. I'll maybe I'll do that over the 4th of July here, Corinn. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing some of those activities. I love how creative you guys are getting with still trying to get folks out and about and supporting our local attractions and businesses. I always ask our speakers and our guests to leave our members with action items. So, you know, being in our demographic group, you know, if you have 1 or 2 things that our members can do to help support, you know, the businesses that help support Madison, the travel and tourism industries today, what would those things be?
Yeah, I would say definitely check on any of your friends that have been in the industry. They need your friendship and your support as they navigate, you know, going back to work or staying furloughed. Check in with them. Definitely head out to some of the businesses that have reopened, especially those in the Streetery program. If you haven't been downtown in a while, there's a great outdoor cafe pop-up on South Pinckney Street next to Lucille. There's options to sit outside, which is fantastic. So yeah, I would say we've talked at our office about making, you know, Friday takeout a thing. So pick some day of the week where you support a local restaurant. I've heard the cocktail kits are fantastic for places like Mint Mark. So there's options out there to explore any type of cocktail or beverage or food that you want. So definitely do that. And then if you definitely like and share our Explore Outdoor Madison campaign, we'd love to see your pictures as you explore. If you have any tips that we can share as you go on the lake loop or as you head out on a kayak, we'd love to see them. And then as we have some of those experiences coming down the pipeline, we may need some help, i.e. some testers, some models, if you will. So we might be reaching out to YPs to get them involved.
That's awesome. Well, I have a face for radio, so I'll pass you along to some of my other friends who may want to help you out.
Okay, perfect.
But that's awesome. Well, Corinn, thank you for your time. Appreciate you sharing all the wonderful things that Destination Madison has done and will continue to do. And thank you for sharing some of these opportunities to help support the community with our members. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Alex. You're so welcome.
Thanks, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you at the next coffee conversation.